Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Communicator News Media presentation on Omnibus Roundtable Television Show. Today, our topic is the day after. What are we going to do now that the President of the United States, in my opinion, has started a coup? What say you, Sandra? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Wanda, for having me. Good afternoon. With his attempt to throw a coup and take over the U.S. Government and Congress, and to, I guess you would say, null and void the election that had already been approved and proven that it was fair, it's unconscionable. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, Trump has not been anybody's representation of a leader. He's always been out of control the last 4 years. I can say he has escalated and been more disruptive and more inappropriate as time has gone on.
Yes.
And unfortunately, his party of Republicans and his group of friends and cronies have never tried to correct him or even say at one point or any point, sir, I think you're going a little bit too far.
Oh, because they'll get fired. They'll get fired.
Well, that doesn't matter because that's the other thing. Because like I said, this is going to be a multiple conversation here, which again, when we were discussing him and what led up to the things that we saw yesterday, it was not about being fired when you are a multimillionaire or a billionaire by right. And when I say multi-millionaire, I mean you're a $500 million person or you're a $1.3 billion person.
So the job shouldn't have made that big of a difference.
Right. Who cares about $174,000 per year job? Moreover, he is such an autocratic leader. You didn't have any power. As a matter of fact, you had a lot of responsibility with no authority. Trump never gave any of his cabinet members, any of his chiefs of staff, his press secretary, or anyone else, any kind of authority. Anything that had to happen or would happen had to come not from him, not through him, but from him.
Yes.
He didn't even allow them to speak out or give their opinion or anything on what was going on. Something to believe each time, even with Sarah Huckabee, each time she came out and said something, trust and believe it was already scripted. She didn't have an opinion. That's why they didn't answer any questions when it was posed to them by the press, other than what he had already approved that she could say. So there was no real benefit in being a member of his cabinet or even being one of his supporters. I still don't have no idea what he held over these people.
He held something. He held something.
Yesterday,
he held
but
something.
You know, and we still kind of believe that. But after seeing Mitch McConnell come out and say what Congress did not have the authority to do, which Trump was requesting and expecting, and had told his followers would happen. That's the thing. I hope they arrest him. He's guilty, really, of treason.
Yes.
He's guilty of treason. Because he went against a constitutional process. He betrayed the trust of Congress and the American people. So they keep talking about they want to impeach him for other things that he did. He broke the laws in so many ways.
Come on now.
It's really crazy that we have to say that he was our president. I mean, that man, he's always been Satan in a suit. And I mean, it's just really sad to see it come to the point where he had incited people to the point that they would destroy an American icon like that. The Capitol building stands for so many great laws and great things have happened in that building for blacks, whites, and everybody else. Yes, we're still fighting for our rights, as is even women. We're still fighting for our rights.
I think that if that group had consisted of Black people, African American people, I don't think I would be on this show today to talk about it. Okay.
Well, I'm not. I can't take that position. I can't take it because there were blacks in that crowd. I pointed out several blacks in that crowd.
Through those doors. I didn't see any blacks breaking into the building. I didn't see that. But
yes. let's gotta go back and watch it.
Okay. Let's Erie. I'd be interested in hearing your perspective. Erie is a young lady, one of Peter's friends, and she was on the show yesterday. And I'd like to hear what you have to say about what you think happened yesterday.
Well, overall, I think there's definitely, even if we can't be on the same page as others, is that there is some civil unrest going on, and people are upset about certain things. And I think it takes more questioning on what's going on to actually understand what's going on with these folks. I don't think that people are just upset, that their so-called leader didn't maintain presidency. I don't think that those people are that upset. And I do think upset for that. And I think that he did hire some folks to, carry some of the plans out, but I don't think everybody out there was hired. I don't think that like every face out there was white. I don't think that. And I think that, again, I mentioned this yesterday, that we should definitely respect some of the bravery from some of those people, because they can, once we get unified as a people and understand, that our history has been robbed from us, and our curriculum in the school is continuously being taught to these children, we have a bigger fish to fry than hating on Trump. We have bigger fish to fry. We have children to take care of, because they are the future. They are the people that are going to carry on the legacy. So if all we can do is sit home and pass unknown fear and hatred to our children, to make them hate people for reasons that we don't even understand, because Trump, in my eyes, he has done some unorthodox style of being a leader. But I feel as though the position needs that sometimes, because people like our President Barack Obama, who we love to claim and praise so much, I can't praise him past the fact that he's black. And when I look at his information even deeper, it's more that goes with that. But I can't praise him for more than him being just black, because I can't say that he did more than just allow LGBTQ community to get married. I can't say that he did more than that. But I can say that Trump has changed. I can say that Trump has changed plenty of policies to where we can stop depending on Section 8 and stop being unaccountable for ourselves. And I do know that he's paid money to quite a bit of black colleges, to stimulate those.
I don't know where you're getting your information from.
But to finish, but to go ahead and finish my full opinion, would just be to say, I think that there are bigger things to talk about, like the history that we were given as children, all of us.
Well, I was just basically saying that, instead of passing on things that are packed with unknowing and fear, I think we should pass along to our children critical thinking for ourselves, because even after this leader, this so-called leader is out of what we call our way, we're still going to need our children to be able to think for themselves, because there will be worse leaders than that. The times have changed. And I also want to say that he stimulated small businesses. So maybe we are looking at it as someone who's racist, and just we're looking at it very small-minded.
I'm trying to figure out where are you getting your numbers from? You can go to the Bureau of Statistics, the U.S. Department of Labor, Bureau of Statistics.
Unemployment is lower than it's ever been, but before we hit COVID.
No, ma'am. I don't know where you're getting your information
Before we hit
from.
COVID, unemployment is the lowest it's ever been.
Wait a minute. Please hear me, because I heard you. Please hear me. You need to go and pull those numbers. I'm telling you where you can go and pull. You need to pull those numbers, and you will find that, no, that's not true. And you can go to the U.S. Department of Labor, Bureau of Statistics. I also want you to go to a place called QuickStat. which also gives you information from the Census Department, which could break it down to you by race and ethnicity, by city, county, and it can even break it down by job. You need to look at that information.
Okay.
Because
I do appreciate that.
Some of the stuff you were talking about, unfortunately, it would have been nice if he could have did that. He didn't do anything. Trump hasn't done anything since he's been in office. Other than promote this division.
But the overall, I'll definitely check my facts. I appreciate you letting me know that, because I don't want to go around with misinformation. So I'll check my facts. But the other thing that I want to say is that the census itself was invented to create that caste system that we're in. So when we speak of race, people were not classified as far as race. We've always been classified as far as class. So when you say and call people black, that's not really who we are. That's a class. That's not really what our color is. That's a class.
Well, no, ma'am. On the census, we're still Negroes. On the census, they were still, and I agree. I don't like that.
They also were mulatto, though. My ancestors were indigenous.
But I want you to go back, like you just said, when you go to those places, to those two places I just told you, and Wanda can give you my number, you can call me back if you want me to tell you again. I want you to look there, because that is not true. That is just simply.
Well, I'm saying I'm talking about the census, ma'am.
Or even with
talking about the census being invented to keep us apart and segregated.
Okay.
But
I follow Dan Calloway. That's one of my sources. I do want to say that. I follow Dan Calloway. So if you want to check out some of Dan Calloway's work, because he has.
But ma'am, I'm just telling you to go where the numbers are.
No, I am. I said thank you. I am going to check that out. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to this is my opinion.
Until you look at the facts. Once you look at the facts, then you're right. If the facts reveal that to you, even then you should quote those facts, because the census and gathering census information also determines your congressional representation and what district you have. It's more into all of these things are connected. And to say that you denounce any part of these things, the Department of Labor, the census, Social Security, you start saying you denounce those things,
and the information
that they provide, then you start really getting to a point where you make the processes that keep us whole and how
No. Don't misunderstand me.
Let her finish. Erie, let her finish her thought out, because other people are listening. And so I would, and I'm just interjecting because I'm really listening to everybody.
Tell me who you are.
This is Lavette. Okay. I'm Lavette Haynes. And my heart is throbbing because I'm hearing you, Erie. Yeah, that's how you say your name. How do you say your name?
Irie.
Oh, Irie. Okay.
And Sandra, her words of wisdom are coming out, because I've talked to Wanda, and we are all saying our truth.
Yes.
And we have searched them our way.
Yes.
Thank you. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to fall. We don't want to fall into the pit of not hearing each other, because Black people, and I hear you, Irie, I hear you, but when we talk about Blacks from where I come, I'm past 60. So when I refer to Black, when we were denied all of our culture, we had to create an experience. So saying that you're Black has nothing to do with your skin color as much as it was the culture we had to create. So when you say something to the negative about someone being called Black, it was an experience. And if you didn't live that moment, We had to have our own identity because
They
it
had
was
taken ours
denied
away.
us.
Yeah.
So that experience that we so richly enjoyed, from the music to the food to the history, it was an experience not to be pushed to the side because we're now in another realm. It is part of our history. And this is what I said yesterday. When we start to be in disagreement about what we're called, and I said, Wanda told me our realities are not the same,
No,
but
they're not.
let us be one. If I call myself Black, embrace me. If you call yourself an Aborigine, I'll embrace that, because I know when I look at you and I see me in you,
Yes.
it is no confusion in my mind who you are to me. You are my sister, or this is my brother. And so when we are on that page, we don't have to waste time explaining, well, I'm Aborigine, I'm Indigenous, I'm Black, I'm African American. Forget that.
Come on
Because
now.
we waste
I agree with that.
What
I
time
agree
it
with
is.
that.
we
And that
waste too
wasn't
much time. We waste too much time
that
in that division.
wasn't my
Now,
intentions, ma'am. That's what I was trying to
I
explain.
know it's not your intentions, honey.
I was just
I'm
saying
just
that
only trying to say to
who
you.
controlled those numbers. Who controlled those numbers is what I was talking about. That's all. Thank you, though.
Okay, but guess what? Guess what? That experience is you.
I appreciate that experience.
You stand on the shoulders. I heard you talking about your mom, and I wanted to reach out to you and tell you how I wanted to share my sympathies. But when you talked about her, I felt such a strong queenship in her. And so you are an example of what she produced.
Yes.
And so we don't need to disagree. We can disagree without being disagreeable, because we all live our own. We all have our own paths that we're.
I agree with that. I just wanted to be able to finish what I was saying. So that's all I was trying to do before somebody misunderstood what I was saying. So that's why I began to be disagreeable.
And I don't want you to be.
I don't want that either. I just want to be able to explain, because I was asked. So when I was asked, I just wanted to be able to say what I wanted to say from the top to the beginning.
Right.
I mean, top
right.
to
But
the
you know
end.
what?
So,
it's just like you, Irie, it was just like you were saying, your truths about Trump. I'm so black and white with the guy because of this. When I found out that he did everything in his power to kill 5 innocent Black men, it was nothing that he could do or say. And so if you don't know about the Central Park 5, those brothers were on the brink of dying. And when this man found out the truth, he put an ad out to kill him anyway. And a lot of people don't even know. They just said that he's doing something so unprecedented. Nobody has ever left office trying to kill a man. He just executed a guy. He's fast tracking these things. So anybody that tells other people to go and take the government over with their Confederate flags means these are the ancestors these are the children of their ancestors that hung my mother's father on a tree. So these are the people, and when we look at someone, how can we say that there's any good in them when they are giving the Black Power fist to Confederates and people waving the Confederate flag, knowing that these people are the prodigy of the same ones that burned us on a tree and made coats out of our leather skin. So
some of those people were paid with those Confederate flags as well.
And what we were talking about, our subject today is the day after. Okay. And the subject is around what occurred on yesterday in Washington, D.C., to include our opinion, which led up to what we saw yesterday, and also our opinion on the way forward. This is only one. This is the first of a series of broadcasts that we are going to do to talk about what occurred on yesterday. I was fortunate yesterday to catch all of it televised because I was watching the confirmation. So I can tell you, and just like Vivette said, and even, is it Erie or Irie? And what Irie was talking about, what led up to it, when we were talking about the fact that we never expected him to do anything like this. We were now initially talking about Trump's role in what occurred on yesterday. Right. Irie came in and talked about how she believes that Trump did do some good things, although what he did yesterday, in her opinion.
Okay, you're right. I'm saying. Okay, right.
And that was her.
So what were her points? Okay, I got you. Okay, and I don't want to hear about. By the way, I don't. Wait a minute. And I guess I want the long story short. I want the long.
Wait a minute. Her points were that he did some contributions as the president, and also she feels, even though this is different and what he did was unorthodox and times have changed, we're now going to do things differently. And that's a summation of what she said.
Okay, right. Okay, that's good.
When she gave out some information, I just gave her some places to go to pull up the data, the certified data that you can use anywhere to find that. And then that's when it kind of, we started talking, and Lavette just came in. Lavette was there listening, and she just happened to be commenting on how she was processing what she heard Irie stating. And that was why, at that time, she felt like she was saying, he was trying to dismiss or set aside the cultural experiences that we as a people have done when we talked about the census and getting that information. So now you're all caught up to speed. And what Irie was just trying to say, she said, okay, I don't want to misinform anybody. I don't want to use information that's not correct. I'm going to go and look. But she was just telling us her source. And she was just, like she was saying, speaking her truth, which is cool. Nobody's denouncing you for that. That's cool. But it was just some of the things, again, when we talk about his accomplishments, and I wanted to make a short comment on what Lavette shared. I too, and this is probably a generational thing. I too am 61. When you do something so heinous that Trump has done the last 4 years, and I keep saying the 4 years, I want you to understand, I'm just not talking about what he did in the last 4 weeks or even yesterday. When it came even to the 500 children who have been separated from their parents and will never see their parents again, don't even know where they are, and the abuse that they're going through now, I cannot say that you've done anything. I cannot say anything positive about you. And I think that might be a cultural thing, because I do know, and I respect the younger generations, because I got grandkids. I have an adult granddaughter, and I have adult children, and I can tell you they think differently. They're more forgiving of certain things that individuals in my generation, and I have a 43-year-old son, I have 35-year-old twins, and I have a 19-year-old granddaughter. They're more forgiving. Not my 43-year-old son. He's like me with this. I can't forgive you if you've done these terrible things. I can't look at you as my leader. And that was what I wanted to say, dear heart. When we choose a leader, my definition is the person of a leader is a person that leads their people into the future in a constructive and positive manner so that they can continue to prosper. That's what a leader does, be it in an organization or a leader of a state or whatever. But I can't see you as a leader or accept you as a leader if you are doing these types of heinous things that, again, that totally go against who I am, my fiber, my constitution, and my beliefs. I cannot recognize you as my leader. And I think that's the big difference, and why Irie is saying that she can see some positive things that Trump did. And I think that's valuable for us going forward, because we all got to heal from the last 4 years, and we got to start healing from what we saw, what we witnessed yesterday, and what we continue to see that's topping the headlines today. Where do we go from here as a nation and as a people, and sometimes even within our own cultural settings? How do we go forward with everything that we're seeing and everything that we've been through in the last 4 years?
Now,
and I think, and so who else might want to, again, give us your opinion on what you saw yesterday and how it influences where you are today or where you want to go forward, because it's important to hear everybody's opinion.
Yes.
And I'm glad this is being recorded because I'm going to take some notes later on. I think it's important for us to hear that. And I think it's important for us to have these open discussions so that individuals like ourselves can go back to our various community organizations, our churches, and whatever our social organizations that we're involved in, and have this healing process start. Because it needs to start before the 20th. It really does. The 20th is our official day, but I think if we start talking about it and getting some plans and giving some encouragement for everybody, because yesterday was a sad day, y'all.
Yeah.
I have not felt this sad since 9/11, and I saw those planes go into the Twin Towers.
Yeah. Now, Sandra, let's hear. Peter, you haven't said much. This is a young man on the show. Peter is my grandson. He lives in St. Louis, and I just wanted to hear what his opinion was. Peter, do you want to tell us what you thought about yesterday?
I can tell you briefly because I'm working and I'm trying to listen in and talk at the same time. Okay, when I think the people that was out there, I think they just felt like they're entitled and they feel like they have to do that because of their president's secretly bring that this way. Secretly, I'm sorry guys, I have to really cut this short because I am at work and. Okay. I'm just going to listen to you guys. Again, I apologize for everything.
No problem. Then we got TJ on the line. TJ, tell us what you saw yesterday.
I agree that what I saw was ultimately a failed attempted coup.
Okay.
To seize power and instate himself as a person who will lead the country into further demise. I believe that you should not base a president on his statistical reports or what he has done financially or economically, because what are economics? Money, as commonly said, is the root of all evil. However, it's the ethics that drive your actions. However, I can see that Donald Trump is a very unethical individual and cannot be held to any ethical or moral standard.
Whoa, now that says a lot, Jerry, what do you say about that?
Well, listening to a show like this, I was expecting, or what I want to do is, what is it that the generations, or what is it that people will learn after hearing what I have to say? What I have to say about what happened yesterday was that it is clear to me that, first of all, DC has 5 official police departments. Unlike other cities, it's a very small city. For 500 people to come in from out of town and nobody to know about it, right. I'm quite sure that didn't happen.
Yes.
Not into we live in the Midwest, and I don't want to be long because I don't want to do I don't want to do that. But DC is not Chicago. It is not a Midwest land mass. There is nothing even comparable to Soldier Field in DC. Very small space. And for people to coordinate themselves in that small place to storm the Capitol with the FBI being headquartered there, Secret Service, Department of Justice, for all of that for you to be able to storm the Capitol.
Yes, storm the Capitol.
That's a big deal. And it had a whole lot to do with more than Donald Trump. That's it.
Okay, I got you. I said it was cool. It wasn't.
Now, Jerry, you got to come back. You got to come back on our next show. And you got to elaborate on that, because that has been a concern of many. Now, I'm going to let you all know, and I normally don't say this, Wanda's my witness. I am a federal employee, and I'm a federal management employee, and I've been to D.C., and I've worked for and I've been in federal situations, and to include Department of Defense, and on their military installations. I've worked on those also. And I'm gonna say what you said, Jerry, right now was what came out yesterday around 7:30. I heard one of those commentators, one of the other people, they were reading their email, I guess, that had been sent to them, and they were wondering how that group was able to do what they did. But like I said, and I hope somewhere they showed the entire footage of yesterday.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
Because I saw it yesterday, and I thank God, because normally I don't even pay it, but I was so upset about them doing. I was waiting for them to object, and I wanted to see it and witness it myself to the electoral colleges that were Democratic, that went Democrat. So I wanted to see those states and how they were going to object and how they were going to behave, the senators. So there is a time, if you have the opportunity, maybe to piecemeal or somebody else should have it, to see what occurred yesterday. And please remember, we, the federal government, many of us are working from home. And the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, they go out and they investigate allegations. And when someone said yesterday, they said, oh, they're going to call the FBI. I said, FBI is not coming out to shoot in the air or throw tear gas. They don't do that. When they come out and they shoot, the FBI is trained to shoot to kill, not to shoot to maim, not to shoot to injure, not to shoot to stop. And the CIA and some of those other forces, they don't have the authority nor the responsibility to do what some people thought they could do. And if we had been able to see when the mayor, when she came out and she addressed the public with what was going on.
If I can interrupt you for a second, I'm not talking about the ability to control I'm talking about intelligence. I'm talking about what happened days before it happened. I am not talking about yesterday.
We totally agree that this was
okay.
You're
right.
right.
So I don't want to send you into a long conversation about because let's just try to give people what they need in order to understand what happened. That's what I want to do.
Okay. But there was so much that happened yesterday. Is what I want to say. And if you didn't get to see it, you need to really try to see it. There was so much that happened yesterday. We won't cover it in 1 hour. That's why I said, I don't know if you heard when we got on, this is going to be like a little series because there was so much that went on. 1 hour won't give us enough time to even talk about what occurred.
Yeah.
Well, we need to be directional about it so people will listen. That's all.
Okay.
We will.
Okay.
And like I said, we are. Right now, we were just talking about your opinion about Trump, and you expressed that. Did we get a chance to get an opinion? Wanda, I didn't hear your opinion from everybody that's on the phone right now.
Well, my opinion about what happened yesterday is that was a coup, because there's no way that many people could have been in front of the Capitol, standing all over the Capitol, and then break in without somebody having known that they were going to be there. And why weren't the police there? Why weren't the military there? How could that happen? This is United States of America. That was the Capitol. How did they do that?
Well, they were aware that they were coming. That is true. They were aware that there was going to be something that was going to occur. They were aware that the protest was going to happen. That they were aware of. You're absolutely right.
So why didn't they have police around? I don't understand how they
right. Why didn't they stop it? So if you're saying they knew it was going to occur, if they knew it was going to be violent, why didn't they have the ability to stop it?
They knew there was going to be a protest. They did not. They knew there was going to be a protest. That they did know. They knew there was going to be a protest. And again, you have the right to assemble. You don't need to pull out a permit to protest.
Wait a minute. But let me stop you right now. How many protests do they have to deal with in the District of Columbia?
People protest there in small numbers.
That's what I'm talking about all the time. They are very familiar with it. It is not a foreign experience for the District of Columbia. It's not an unknown entity. It is not an unknown entity.
It is not.
That's what the next generation needs to know. It is not a obscure place in order to protest. There's nothing strange about protesting in DC. It is a regularity.
You're absolutely right.
And the last time there was a protest, well, maybe not the last time, but when Black Lives Matters was there, they had the National Guard come out and secure the area. So,
well, they had the National Guard come out then. That's why I keep saying you have to watch it. They had the National Guard who did arrive. They came out. I was sitting there when they arrived and tried to come through the crowd. But that was when they had started scaling the building, though. That was when they showed up.
Right. But here's what, and I don't know, I don't have any official reports, but one of the things that I have heard unsubstantiated online was that Trump did not allow DC's National Guard. I don't know that DC has one because they're not really a state, but and they had to send them from Virginia, unsubstantiated. I can't substantiate any of these things, but I have heard online rumors.
You are right. As Virginia, Maryland, and New Jersey sent officers and everybody that they could to help because Trump, where they were begging him, his aides told him when the crowd increased, the number increased drastically and suddenly, and the mood changed, and the media was even saying the mood has changed out here. And it was true. You could see the aggravation. You could see they came up with all these flags, and you're like, where did people come from? When that happened, they told him then, you need to have released the National Guard to help them get control because the Capitol Police numbers are insufficient. And again, to get DC police means you leave the community unmanned and to try to see who else we can come in here. He did not do any of that until after, 2 hours, 2.5, may even been 3. Because when this first started, because they had intelligence letting them know, oh yeah, it's small numbers that are here now, but this is about to blow up. And he did nothing. And so, which again is something when they talk about how to deal with him for his actions and lack of actions with this matter, it's something that Congress needs to really consider. They really need to consider that because, again, we're talking about deliberate. We're talking about deliberate, intentional. He deliberately would not do anything. And
so now, Sandra, so now all this happened yesterday, the day after. This is the day after. What do we do? What is our action plan? What should we be thinking about?
Well, right now, we as voters, from a local standpoint, if you can, you need to contact your congressman's office and your senator's office. All of them have online things. You just go on and type, they get it right away, for them to hold him accountable as best they can, if they can. And please say what I said, if they can, if they can. Remember, this man's got 2 more weeks, 14 days, just to be president. And unfortunately, the government does not move as swift as we need to. It drives me bananas. But we also need to make sure this man does no more harm. And by contacting your senator and your congressman, that's what's going to get a move and put a fire under their feet if they're not already one of the senators or congressmen that are going after him now for what he did. Because he also let it be known in his group that it ain't over. And that right there, to hear that at 8 o'clock was like, oh, wow. It ain't over.
Okay, yeah, what I have to say, thank you, Wanda, for the question. It's a good question. Again, I'm going to be as short as possible. What needs to happen is they need to do something first ceremonious and then something real. Ceremonious means that they can have proceedings and they can actually impeach him and show that he's irrelevant. But the next thing that needs to happen is the same way that they made people like Malcolm X disappear. Donald Trump can be made to disappear in America and be irrelevant the same way. The news can stop reporting him, and he can, the same way they have disappeared Noam Chomsky and Brains and Chris Hedges. There are people that cannot get any media out, period, in this country. On all of the platforms. They can make, I'm not going to tell the next generation that they can't make Donald Trump go away, because that is a lie.
Yes.
They can make him irrelevant. They make Black leaders irrelevant all the time. You cannot find Farrakhan anywhere. So you're going to tell me now they are so inept at how to get rid of Donald Trump. Let's stop playing games. I'm done.
That's true. And you're right, Jerry. You got to come back. That's true. They can make him go away, because right now he thinks he's a god. This man has inserted himself as a god.
One of those senators this morning said that they need to impeach him, and this time have him
physically removed. Something ceremonious.
He can't come back. He can't run again.
Right. Ceremony. You know, something where, you know, like the Game of Thrones, where you take his ass out of there on a stretcher or something. You do something so people go, damn. You know, they need to get drama. They would do it for us. Listen. They need to figure out
if steps we need to talk about it.
If the Nation of Islam had been there, they would have knew exactly what to do to make all of them niggas go away forever.
Yeah.
So they need to just employ their minds. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. You have to just edit that out. But no, I didn't mean that. But I mean, the point is they know what to do.
Yeah.
They hold this country together very well. They have held us in this economic despair for 200 years. These people are effective.
Yes.
Let's stop playing like they're not.
You're right.
When they want to be, they can be most effective. You're right. They can be most effective when they want to be. That was what Wanda stated earlier.
Yeah.
Is, you know, why didn't they do something about him? What is the problem? What does he have on them
Yeah,
that
it's
has
something on
made
somebody.
them
He got some on hold.
not?
He does
they're
have
so
some on them.
freaky. So yes.
Huh? Did you say?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Somebody said something, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I was saying I definitely agree that Trump has some on them, and the same way that our Black leaders were put to the side, I think it's because of they had some information that they didn't want to get out. So I definitely think that people that have information and have something on someone else, it's over with. They don't want them in. They don't want them around at all. And I think we should find out what the information is so we won't be out of the loop. Our children won't be susceptible because those children that are held at the border, you know, all of those children that are away from their parents. I just think that you know, they haven't stopped saying where are our girls. And just because, you know, it's so much going on in America, we got to ask, why is there so much going on in America? What are they distracting us from? You know, China is one of those top places that's rampant for child trafficking. And I don't want to talk about that. Trust me, I don't want to talk about that. But we have to talk about it because, you know, we got new leaders coming in. And I heard someone say earlier that, you know, a leader is someone that's going to lead your people to prosperity and give them something that to look forward to, and also a job to do. But I almost lost my train of thought. But yes, but Joe Biden is you know, supporting a lot of the things that are hurting our children directly, and you know what I mean.
Give us an example. Give us an example of what you're talking about.
An example is you know, he had allegations and cases where he was practicing with his own children, and his children are practicing as well. And that's just not talked about anymore. Those people are praised and they stand together. Him and Hillary Clinton.
What was he practicing?
Child, you know, molestation with his children. You know, things like that. Biden. And so that's when I got to the thing that I said, you know what, I don't support Trump. I didn't vote for Trump, but at the same time, I have to look at both, and I don't take racist against pedophile as something like, you know, so that's where I'm at, and that's why I'm like, okay, I definitely check. Thank you for fact checking me. I definitely go back and check, but I got different facts out there that they're not talking about on CNN, and they're not talking about because they you know, the elite stick together. That's all I can say.
You know, it's wildly unsubstantiated that Biden, with, you know, to randomly put that into a call, like you said, about, you know, pedophilia or ideas. Again, you are quoting ideas that you see online and you cannot personally substantiate. So, well,
it's not quoting things that I see online. When those people were arrested and on house arrest, during those times when COVID had just started, these people were on house arrest. They can't go anywhere, and they had a trial for various of them, a group trial in California, and it was September 9th. So that's very much substantiated.
You know, I just want to interject.
I think you're talking about what you said about Biden and his kids. If you can, and you do know how old his children are, right? So if this was a matter of fact, there is a way for you to pull up the court paper or even the warrant for his arrest because of that time.
Right.
That is public information.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm telling you now. Fact check what they tell you before you repeat it, because
his daughter came out with a book. Her diary from when she was 14 years old was published.
Again, that's what you have heard from someone. And when people come into power, or even when you're good and you're trying to do a good cause, and they see where you're going to help people come out, people will put out lies and they will pay people to lie on you. And they would pay people many times to say the kind of lies and rumors that take a while for a person to come out and say that this is unsubstantiated, this is unfounded, because it takes you a while, unless you know where to go to find the information. If this really occurred, you don't go, and that rumor, that lie becomes a malicious, false truth. And you say, how can it be a false truth? There are a lot of them out there.
I understand what you're saying. I just know that
really,
who their friends are.
You need to really check that and find out where you can go and get that information, if it even occurred. Because if you don't see legal documentation, and all legal things are date stamped, you're going to see the attorney, you're going to see the judge, you're going to be able to verify the county that it occurred in, because you're going to see more about the county that it occurred in than just the city, because the city rarely brings up those kind of charges on people. But you need to see that the county does the prosecution, or the state of. And if you can't find that, it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
I just think the justice system doesn't work like that for everyone. I think the people that pay into it, they get more favor, and the people that like our black men that are not accountable.
There's a way now. And there's a team called IntelliJust and IntelliWhoever. My daughter subscribed to it years ago and continues her subscription, that they use in your jobs when they're hiring you. Please trust and believe, if anything that you said there that about him and pedophilia had any way of being the truth, he would have never been and continued where he is, because right now that's what they're exposing right now. The Me movement is exposing people like that. So,
but it's even past the Me movement. It's becoming the pedo movement, and they are celebrating pedo.
Can I just interject?
My pedo husband.
And realize that we've strayed off of the topic of the conversation.
And that's what I'm about to do. I apologize for straying off the topic. Yes. I apologize, but Irie, I want you to come back and schedule another time with Wanda and the group to maybe again even discuss, and maybe that might be a good thing, about fallacies right now and how they put it out and how they ruin or attempt to ruin people's careers or stop the good work. Because again, talking about Trump and his non-good work, that is something I think that we really need to, as a people, we need to really look for. And when we looking now going forward with our leader, and even holding Biden's administration accountable. I think that was something we didn't do with Trump. I don't think any of us ever held him accountable.
Okay. What say you, Jerry?
Yeah, I think that, again, in a platform like this where we're trying to get people to listen to what it is that we have to say, we've got to really try to stay on subject, first of all, and to stay away from what it is, that we have, understanding that there's a personal side of things, and then there's a political and professional side. And as the man was trying to interject, just being careful and then quickly mindful when you've gotten off track.
Yeah. Thank you, Jerry. We will always have you on there to help reel us back on. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're on the call. I'm glad you're on the call.
Let me just say, I'm not gonna lie, because here's one of my truths. So this is after I was a moderator and paid very well 20 years ago to moderate conversations for Fortune 500 companies. So that's I can't help it for doing that.
We love you. Don't keep it. But then I haven't heard from you, and I know you've been listening and taking notes.
She's actually left the meeting.
She probably had to call.
Oh wow. Yeah, because I was wondering why she was so quiet.
Yeah,
but we're almost out of time for this show.
Yeah.
But I want to say, everybody that's online, please come back. And even if you have someone else who has an opinion, because one thing about it, we can't have a whole lot of people talk at the same time. But as Wanda has the control of this, where we can do one show and then maybe immediately go into the next one, if the conversation needs to continue, And I think the information, there was such little information that really gets out to our community that we need to use whatever venue that's available for us to actually put out and spread the word. Because again, we needed to find a way forward after the Trump administration anyway.
Yes.
And then yesterday, it's just another thing to add to the Trump administration, COVID-19. We got to find a way to help our people move forward. Yes. And we got to stay vigilant, and we got to stay encouraging. And thank you I'm with Jerry and Irie. Irie, thank you very much for being, and TJ, I'm sorry, TJ, not to ignore you. Thank you guys very much for being the voice of youth that we need to hear.
Yes.
Your opinions and how you're interpreting these things as they unfold is important. I can't stress the importance of it, because I've been one of those young people. I've been where you are right now.
Right.
And what I have the opportunity to have a voice and to help things and make a contribution and the way of how we're going to progress as a people and as a nation. I'm gonna let you know, I'm not one of them patriotic people, red, white, and blue. I don't own no flag. I ain't got no red, white, and blue. I don't wear red, white, and blue on 4th of July. But I love America, because I can tell you other countries and some of the things they've gone through and the things I've talked to people with, because I do civil rights, and I've heard people talk about what goes on in their countries when they were not born here, or even when they were patriots who were over there, what they had to put up with. And how, again, with all our faults, we are still better than many countries out there. And there's always room for improvement, because it's like people, we're not perfect. And we're made up of the people, by the people. And I think like I said, I'm all for America and us healing. COVID-19 has attacked us not only as a people, but it's attacked us as a nation and as a world. And we need to address it. And this thing here that Trump has done to us as Americans, and embarrassed, they all, and I don't think any of the people out there were embarrassed. I mean, that's a whole nother mindset. Wanda and I have been talking about the fact he had 70 million voters, 70 million people voted for him. That was real scary. I was still rocking and reeling from that. Yes, and to see what a handful of that 70 million is capable of doing just on a whim.
Yeah.
Just on a whim, y'all. We got to get it together, and we got to get it together.
We got to strategize. We got 2021 is the year for strategizing, because we have to employ some new strategies to deal with the USA. This is a government, and another conversation I'd like to have in the future is the fact that there are more than one United States of America. Did you guys know that? I hear silence, so apparently you didn't. Okay, so I'm going to bring up, we're going to have a show, and we're going to talk about the 2 United States that exist in America. Let's see how much time we got.
None. 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Or 2 minutes.
Let's have TJ give us a closing statement.
Well, I'd just like to say summatively that if we continue down the path of absolving Donald Trump of his crimes, because what he's done is criminal.
Yes.
And if it's not criminal by the Constitution of the United States, it should be criminal by each and every American's ethical code.
All right.
We cannot absolve him. We have to prosecute him and make him pay for the crimes of which he's committed and what he's done to people. People's careers have been destroyed by the words of Donald Trump, all because he didn't like what they said, even if it wasn't even remotely concerning him.
Yes.
He likes to go after people and he likes to take them down. And now that his presidency, his reign of power, his almost dictatorship of a presidency is coming to an end, he must cling on to any minute amount of power that he has thus far. And we cannot allow him to continue to do that. And it's just a shame that there are people who even support him and he has no relation to them. He can't relate to their financial situation at all.
Yes, that's so true. Oh, TJ. Now, that was a mouthful. I appreciate that, young man. Now, see, he is a representative of our adults for tomorrow. He is our future. Ivory, you are our future. We want to hear from you all because we know that you are tomorrow's presidents. You are tomorrow's senators. You are tomorrow's congressmen. And we need to prepare you so that you can pick up the mantle and run with it. What say you, Jerry? Is that right?
I completely agree. And as you said, I think he did a great summation, and that we as Americans must make sure that we take this opportunity as Black Americans to look at our democracy and see where the holes need to be filled in.
Yes, I agree. And Ivory, you be sure to call back because we know that you are an opinionated young woman, and just so you're supposed to be. But find your facts. We're fact finders, Ivory. We have to be because we look like one another. And we always have to work much harder than others to present our information. Just be factual. Be factual, then you don't have to worry about what other people have to say because you know that you got the facts. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining the show. This has been a most exciting experience. I will let Livette know that we are sorry she left. I think our call just dropped, but I enjoyed talking about the day after the day after. Thank you, and see you next time, next Wednesday, 6 o'clock.